Right, good morning everybody. I hope you're enjoying your International Scrapbook Day 2024, and this is my first International Scrapbook Day project that I'm going to make for you, so I hope that you are going to enjoy it. Let me just bring you down so you can see what we're doing, and then I'll explain what's going to happen. So I'm going to be making my project using the Beach is Calling papers from Graphic 45. I'm loving this papers. I've had it for a couple of months now, and I've been waiting for that special project. Now, I haven't actually got an album as such in mind. I've got the bones structure in my head of what I want to do, but for the pages I thought we would just have it very fluid and just go with the flow and see what happens. So I have just made up a small one just so that we can see what we're going to do. So I'm going to have 4 pages, and they are going to decrease in size from 8 to 5 inches all the way down to your page 1. And then I thought we would just go ahead and just see what pages and what things come to mind. So that's the sort of the bones of the album. Now, what I also want to do is I will write down a cutting guide as well as we go through, but for the basics that I've got already, I can give you those as we go through, and we are going to be making it up. Now, I'm just holding on because I can't seem to find any of my comments on here, so let me just see if we can get it quickly coming up. Okay, I can see them now, so I'm going to hopefully bring this over and pop out chat. There we go. So I'm going to put that over there because I don't want that there, and I'm going to put this chat over here. Just bear with me because this is my first time using YouTube as a live platform, so I wanted to just see how it went. There we go. I think I've got it now. So hello Savannah, I'm hoping I'm sounding okay. No, they didn't actually come up on OBS. I just checked. I think I might have just pressed something by mistake, but I've got the pop out now, so hopefully that is okay. Hello. Take my caps lock off. Hi Tanya, how are you? Thank you for joining me today. Yes, so I'm going to get started. So the album that we're going to make is a 7x9 album, but the pages are 6.5, and the length of the last page is an 8-inch page. So it's got a nice page as well. So you can either keep them all the same length, or you can do like I'm going to do, and I'm going to decrease my pages as we go down from back to front. So as I say, I've made my first sort of the bones of the album just so that I could see what I was going to do. So all good, just done a bit of gardening now. Oh lovely, yes, it's really nice and sunny here as well, Tanya, really lovely. So yes, I'm glad I can join you in the garden, maybe with a nice cup of coffee and a biscuit as well, would be lovely. So let's get started with the album. So as I say, I've cut my grey board out, and this measurement is 7 inches by 9 inches, and the spine is 2 1/4 by your 7 inches. I'm just going to double check. Yes, it is. 7x9, and this is 2mm thick grey board as well, so it'll be nice substantial album. Now I am going to use my foundation tape to attach everything together. I find that this is the quickest way to actually put albums together, but I do like doing both of them, so but this is the quickest way, and it just makes album making a dream, really. So let's get started and put it together. Now I do apologise, I have got a really squeaky chair. I have tried to put some WD-40 on it, but it still squeaks. So I'm going to attach now my covers and my spine, and how I do that, you won't be able to see it, but I do actually hang the roll off the side of my desk, just so that I've got a bit of weight on the bottom. I just find that easier to do than having to cut it off and then you know, trying to position it, because it gets stuck to your fingers and all of that. So that's just how I find it easy to do. And then I'm going to use my gap guides, and I'm using the 1/4 inch one just to get a nice even space in between your spine and covers. So we just stick that on there like so, and then bring in your spine, and then that just fits into that extra slot there like so. It does fit, I promise. There we go. So just burnish them down, and then how I get the gap guides off is that I just bring my tape over the edge, and it will just come off. And then this side, I'm just peeling that off. So I'm going to pull my tape over so it's quite taut, and then just push it down, and then bring your tape up. I will just bring you, there we go, a bit further up a little bit, and we will just use my scissors. I've got a pair of scissors that I use for cutting, and a pair of scissors I use for my tape, because they do get a bit gunky. So pull that up, and then push that down. Okay, now all I'm doing now is I'm just burnishing the two tapes together so that they both stick together like so. So second cover, and it's exactly the same way. We're going to just roll it off the end of your table. I'm going to pull that one together, bring it down just a little bit more. There we are, like so. Bring in the guides. And these guides are really handy. There we are, push that down, and then roll the tape off so that first one comes off easy, and then the second. Pull it taut. Don't pull it too taut. Don't pull it too powerfully, as you may end up ripping the tape. But if you do, you can just add a bit more. This tape is really, really forgiving. And there we go. And then just burnish those down, just with the side of your thumb here. Now, if your thumb decides to tear the tape, again, just put another piece over, and it will just cover that up. But as you can see, it's a nice finish to it. So if you've got any creases, I haven't got any creases in my tape this side, and I don't think I have this side. No, none neither. But what you can do is just take your bone folder and just run it over that tape. Now be very careful that you don't, as I say, slip and go into that join. There we are. So next we're going to edge our album. Now this is how I edge it. I always find it easier doing it this way. So I will put my tape half on, half off the side of your album. Now, how I'm just going by this side here, how much I've got. I'll bring it over and then you can see I've got quite a nice piece this side, so I kind of gauge it by the edge here how much I've ended up going over each side. So I'm going to just cut that tape off and just burnish that down on that side, and then pick it up and turn it over so you've got the sticky side facing up. Now I'm hoping you can see that the sticky side is slightly glossier than the facing side, so you want your sticky side facing up, and then this is where I do a little bit of a jig and I just give it a wiggle, and I just get that tape stuck to this very edge of your cover. Give it another little wiggle, and then I kind of like do a roll, so you do a roll over and then you can burnish that down, and then you end up with a lovely straight non-creased edge on both sides, like so. So now we can do the same with the other side. And again, I'm just going by the corner here on how much as I've gone down, and then I'm just kind of with my thumb, I just find the very corner of your tape and your book, just so that you can see how far you've gone over, because sometimes you might do it and then you find that you've got a skinnier piece on one side than the other. Oh good, I've got a crease in that, so I can show you how they iron out. So bringing it over, do your little dance and little wiggle again, and then pull down and then just burnish that out. So just here, I'll bring this up a little bit, you can see there's a tiny little crease just there. So with your Teflon tool or bone folder, I prefer a Teflon tool because it doesn't leave that shiny finish on your card or your tape, but I've just done that, and then you can see, there we are, I'm just trying to find it there, it's disappeared. I love doing those. I love getting creases in my tape so that I can iron them out. I don't like ironing any other time, but yes, that is a highlight of my album making experience. So I always do my long sides first and then my shorts. You don't like ironing either, Savannah? No. So we just gonna, all I'm doing now is just burnishing those two tapes together, just so that they start to stick. And you'll find that if you do this part, your album will look really, really sleek and finished. Okay. Another thing that I do also like to do, oh yes, yes, that's a bit different, the ironing of your beads. It's very good. Yes. There we go. So what I've done now is I've just used my tool and I've just run it along the edge, just so that my tape really gets stuck to the very, very tippy toppy of that edge of your grey board. I'll do the other side, and it also creates a bit of a square finish as well, which I quite like. If you don't like that, you want a more rounded finish, you don't need to do this bit, but it just gives your albums a very crisp finish to the edges. So let's bring in the tape again, and we're going to do the sides. Now with the sides, I do something a little bit different here. Instead of putting it on the side of your album, I kind of put it on the top. So I'm just going to unreel, I don't know if that's the right word, unwind a length of the tape, just so that it's a little bit longer than your board. I'll do it this way, you can see it's a little bit longer. And I'm going to put one edge to the very edge of your cover, and then go all the way along. Now again, you're going to put this on, half off. Don't be too hung up that it is exactly the same either side, because you are going to be covering the covers. You won't notice that you've got one side is shorter than the other. So I'm just burnishing that top edge again, just so that you can find where your points are, where the 2 points, the edges of your board are. But if you can see that there. Then using your scissors, I'm going to create a mitre point. So a mitre point is just a angled cut that you're going to cut into the tape to create sort of like what if you were going to make a paper aeroplane, you kind of create that type of design on the side there. So you're going to do the same with the other side. Again, I'm just using the grey board as a guide and just letting my scissors do the work. And again, it doesn't matter if they aren't even either side. And then once you've got you're happy, I kind of pinch from the middle and then work down. So kind of pinch and push down like so, and then just burnish that edge there. Now I have got a tiny little point there. I'm just going to snip that off, and then I'm going to just run my tool over just to create that lovely crisp finish on that side. And then I'm going over this grey board as well with the tape. Now, because doing this really does get your tape stuck to your grey board. Okay. And it irons out any bubbles that you may have as well. And it's also it's Star Wars Day today, so happy Star Wars Day for anybody a Star Wars fan like myself. So that's what I'm going to be doing later on. I will be watching the Star Wars videos or films. Wrong scissors. There we are. Again, I'm just finding out where those points are, and then you can mitre them down. Now, mitering your corners, one, makes for a neater finish, and two, if you had a straight edge on your corners, it may, I'm not saying it would, but it may start to curl if you don't, because mitering them, you haven't got the chance of, you know, every time you open and close your book, you will be sort of rubbing up against your tape, so it's got less chance of it curling and coming unstuck with doing it that way. So I'm just going to give it one more burnish like so, and that's your book now near enough done. So next on the agenda, I'm going to do the hinges now. So I'm just going to bring my measurements in, just so that I've got them in my head. So the hinges we're going to cut, so they're going to be a hinge 1 and a hinge 2. So hinge 1 is 3.5 by 6.5. Now the reason I'm doing the hinges first is I want to do this because I'm going to have a spine mount as well. The spine mount will become what was left of hinge 2. So I'm trying to be a little bit more conservative with my cardstock. Now the cardstock I'm using is a 220 GSM. It's a really nice weight cardstock, and it is matte black as well. It's a smooth coating, so it creases like a dream. It really does. It's really, really good cardstock. Now I have got a brand new blade in my trimmer. So hinge 1 is, say, 3.5 by 6. I love it when you get a new blade in your trimmer. It just cuts through everything like butter. So that's your hinge 1. Now what I tend to now do is I score as I go along. Because I've got my trimmer and scoreboard in one, it's easier for me to do that. So if you've got just a normal trimmer, and then just get your scoreboard out ready, and then you can just flip between the two. I tend to do it that way, and then I don't forget score line. So the score lines are going to be at 1/2. So at 1/2, I'll bring that up a little bit. And then 1. Then we're going to go to 1 3/8. And then we're going to go to 2 1/8. And then it's 2 1/2. And then it will be at 3. Okay, so that's your hinge 1. Now if you want to, you can write on the back hinge 1, and then you'll know that that's what that is. So I'm just going to put that over there. So using the scrap that you've got left, we can now do hinge 2, and that is 2 3/4 by 6.5. So 2 3/4 by 6.5. And then these score lines are going to be 1/2, 1, 1 3/4, and 2 1/4. So that's your hinge 2. So we've only used one piece of cardstock at the minute, so this is what is left, and this is going to become your hinge mount. So you should have just over 5 1/4 is your hinge mount. So possibly about nearly just a smidge less than 5 1/2. But that, it doesn't matter that width of it, it's more the length that you need. So we're going to cut this down to 6 1/2 because that's what size our pages are going to be. And then that's your hinge mount. So bringing back your album, we are going to just put these bits together. I do need my ruler for this and a pencil. Oh, this chair is really, I'm so sorry. Let me just see if I can sit back a bit further. It may stop. It's creaking. I think it's got worse. I've put, as I say, some WD-40 on it, but I think that's made it worse. Ooh, right, just getting a pencil sharpener. And making my very sharp pencil. So I'm going to measure on here. So I want 1/4 inch from the bottom and 1/4 inch from the top, like so. And then when your hinge mount goes in, it's going to go just on them lines, like so. Now I do think my ruler tells fibs. because there we go. Better. There we go. Yes, I'm sure it just doesn't like that 1/4 of an inch. So bringing in your double-sided tape. Now we're going to just add tape down the centre, well, not the centre, it's going to be near your join for your spine and your covers on both sides, and then on your covers near that join on both sides. And then we're going to do the spine mount as well. So when you put your tape on, I won't go any further than where you've put those pencil lines, because you don't want the tape to show at the bottom of your hinges, like so, and like so. Now I will use glue as well. I just like the tape, to use the tape, because it gives you that workability, so that you can carry on working in your album. If I just use glue, it might take a little while for it to dry fully, so using the tape and glue, it does really help it stick straight away. There we go. So I'm just doing it, this is my spine mount, and I've put it around each of the 4 corners. Now I will burnish these down. Now I have shown in the past well, I've done an experiment, and I've shown you how important it is to burnish your tape if you're using tape, and you can see it if you use red liner tape. So if you use red liner tape and you don't burnish, you'll be able to see that the tape is not as transparent as it should be. So, but when you burnish and you actually run your tool over that tape, you will see that you iron out any of the little tiny miniature air bubbles that you've got in that tape, and the tape underneath becomes transparent. And it just goes to show you that it is really, that's why it's so important to burnish all your tape down. Otherwise you're going to end up with lots of air bubbles in there, and then you may run the risk of your album falling apart. So I'm just taking off the backing tape. I'm just doing that off of the hinge mount. I'll do this off of here as well. Like so. I'm going to put that in the bin and bring in my glue. Now I did unclog it earlier, and nope. Where did the lid go? This always happens. I do this and then it clogs up, and then when you're trying to get the little needle in that hole, it never works. There we go. I have to say though, this is a godsend, this tool. It really is. I spend less time unclogging using this, and it's not as hard on your hands either. So what I've done is I've just added my glue over the glue, over your double-sided tape, but I haven't gone mad and gone in the middle, because you want this part here to be a little bit more, give it a little bit more flexibility. That's why we don't put it in the middle. So I'm going to add it around the sides as well of your spine mount. Oops. Like so. This also gives you a little bit of wiggle time as well. So we're going to just line this up with my lines that I've made. Trying to get this bit is really important as well, because you want your pages to be as straight as anything. So getting your spine mount in straight, because that's what you're going to be using to line up when you put your pages in. So once I've got that down, I'm just going to burnish that so that I've spreading out all that glue. Don't worry if it seeps out the top, we can wipe that off in a moment. And that's where your Teflon tool comes in handy. And your thumb really works as well. There we go. And then you'll find that this will keep your album really nice and rigid. So when we've done that, it is very rigid, and we need to then reaffirm those join lines again. So I just use my ruler, and I'll bring up one of my covers just so that my ruler gives it a resist. Okay, like so. So you'll now created a really straight crease in that join, and you do the same with the other side. Bring it up like so, and then give it a little bit of a wiggle, so a bit of exercise as well. And then you find then that your book is really quite rigid and stands up as a book should. So you've got a really nice spine. Okay. Just making sure that I'm all stuck down. There. So next we've got our hinges. Now for our hinges, so hinge 1, I'm going to turn it over so that my pencil line is on the back. Now we've got all of our score lines here, so we're going to fold the 2 outer ones on either side. So 1 2 1 2, we're just going to fold those over. So I'm going to fold the second one, and then I'm going to turn it round and do the other side, so that you've created sort of a trunking type look. And move that out the way. We're going to burnish that down. So I've only folded over the one score line at the moment. So I'm going to do the other side, and I tend to go from the middle outwards like so, rather than going from bottom to top. Okay, so that you've created now a really nice crisp score line. So now I'm going to do the first score line on that 1/2 inch, and I'm going to do the same like so, and then I'm going to bring this, so I've turned it round, I'm going to do the other side of this score line as well, and then bring that down like so. Then what I'll do is I will fold it concertina style, just so that I can fold them back the other way. Okay, so it looks a little bit like this. Okay, so I've still got 2 score lines in the middle there, but they are just for guides. They're not actually a score line that we're going to crease. They're just our guides, because when we come to put our hinge 2 in, it's going to give you that perfect spacing. So I'm going to do exactly the same as I did with that one. I'm going to fold the 2 score lines over. So I've just done one side, and I'm going to do the other, like so. I know I'm taking a little bit of time on this, but I think this part of making the book is really important because this is the bones of your album, and you want this to be as strong as it can be, because hopefully if you put photos in your albums, if you give it to anybody, it's not going to fall apart. So making a time to do this part of your album making is really, really, really important. So there we go. So I'm just scoring those. So I folded them both ways, and I've done them concertina style as well. So on the back here is, so we've got hinge 2. Now hinge 2, we're actually going to then stick to hinge 1, and it's going to fit perfectly into those score lines. So in that column is where you're going to put hinge 1. Now you can use a bit of both if you want to. So you can use your double-sided tape. I'm just going to favour glue today. The glue that I'm using in here is the Tonic Deluxe. I had a bit of a love-hate relationship with this glue in the past, but I have to say that they may have changed their consistency, because it is really, really good. It scrabs really quickly. I don't get any money for saying that, but I'd like to say what I'm using and if it's really good. So yeah, it's really good glue. So I'm going to place it in between my scored lines like so, and using glue as well does give you a little bit of wiggle time. So if I get that in the wrong place, if I used tape, I'd have to really yank it off quickly, but using glue you can pick it up and then reposition it if you've got it in the wrong place. So it just makes my life a lot easier, because I do tend to make an awful lot of mistakes. So I'm just pushing that over a little bit. There we go, so that I am in line like so. And if you get a little bit of glue seepage, just again either run your tool over to get rid of it or use your nail. And then once that's in place, I'm going to again burnish it down so that I'm squidging that glue and really, really ironing out any of those air bubbles that you may have, and spreading that glue out as well. And then you'll find that if I'm pulling I don't want to pull it right off, but you can see that it is stuck literally straight away. Now, as my pages here, I'm actually going to be using pocket pages for the hinges. So if you use pocket pages, you do need to miter your corners of your hinge. Because the hinge is exactly the same width as your pages, you won't ever be able to get them to fit correctly. But by mitering your corners, you will be able to, your page will slip over your hinge with ease. So this is where my other scissors come in. So we're going to just miter that corner. Can you see that there? And again on this side, and here, and here. I know I do this a lot on my channel and show people how to make how to do the bones of albums, and sometimes it's just nice just to revisit it and just get it reaffirmed in your head, really. So I've just chopped those off. So now we've done that. Now if you're using your double-sided tape, you could put your double-sided tape on each side of your hinge. I'm not going to use tape, but I'll show you. If you use tape, just remember to put your tape as near to the very end of your hinge. So right up to the very edge like that. Don't bring it down that it's touching your fold, because you don't want it to be seen when you put your tape in. Yes, Savannah, it is really good for beginners as well, because you can use this way, or you could do, if you like to wrap your albums in your cardstock, you can use that as well. But this just gives a alternative way of doing your albums, and a lot quicker as well than by wrapping it. I like both ways, but I must admit I do prefer doing the tape method. So we've now got our hinges ready to go into our book. Now I've got a 3/8 of an inch gap in between all my my hinges, so I'm going to have a 3-inch gap, 3/8 of an inch gap between my joins of my covers. So I'm going to bring my fibbing ruler in again, and I'm just going to roughly do my 3/8 line. So as I say, this is just a rough guide, just to see if, so I'm just bring this around this side so that I can see. So we come there, 3/8. Then I'm going to do the other side as well. Now I'm measuring from your spine edge, not the join edge, it's the spine edge. 3/8. Bring that, and then turn this one round. And do that again. I think that is there. That one I did at 5/8. That wasn't what I wanted. There we go. Did I do that one as well? No, that one's right. So when you then bring your hinge in, I'm just going to fold them over so that I can get it on and show you what I mean. So you're going to then place your hinges in between them lines like so, and then it's going to give you a nice even gap either side. Just make sure you line it up from top and bottom as well, so that you're not going a bit skew width, otherwise you'll end up with pages going up like so and then down. So just be careful. So your glue is going to go all the way over this. Now I am going to fill in the gaps like so, and like so, and then I'm just going to fold them all in so that I've got a bit more control, and then line them up. Let's get in my eyes. There we go. So line them up, top and bottom. And again, using the glue gives you that extra time in case you need to pick it up and move it again. But I think I've got mine in first time. It doesn't happen every time, because sometimes you end up, or I end up having to move it, or it's not in the right place, and then I've had to then maybe I've had to redo the whole thing because it's stuck already, especially if I just used my double-sided tape. So really make sure that it is in the right place before you go and burnish that. So that's our book now, literally ready for our pages. So we're gonna cut the pages now, and then I'm gonna work page by page. so that we can at least get a few pages done. So let me just grab a drink quickly. I hope everybody's okay and they're enjoying it. I'm not going too fast. If I am, or if you want to ask any questions, then please do so. I have got my chat up there so I can see. Okay, so bringing in your trimmer again. Oh, thank you, Savannah. I'm glad. So what are you doing today, Savannah? What is on your agenda today on International Scrapbook Day? So I'm going to work from page 4 to page 1 because we're going to decrease in our page increments. So we're going to go down in increments of an inch. So for page 4, the measurement is, so we're going to have two parts of this. We're going to have a part A and a part B. So part A for page 4 is 8 inches by 6.5. So I'm just going to grab one page. So 8 inches. I'm going to go this way actually. 8 inches by 6.5. Okay, keep that because you may need this one in a minute. So I'm going to just write on here, part A, page 4, 8 by 6.5. 6.5. I'm hoping, yes I did. So that's one page. So part B of that is 8 inches again. Okay, they're all going to be 8 inches. By 7.5. I'm just double checking. Turn it over. Yes, 8 inches by 7.5, and they're not all going to be 8 inches. I told a fib there, sorry. So 7.5. So I'm just going to write this down first so I don't forget. So part B is 8 by 7.5. Okay. Now we've got some score lines on this. I'm just double checking. So the score lines need to go on the 7, on this particular one, on your 7.5 inch side. So it would be, we're gonna score on the shortest side, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And we're going to flip it around and score the other short side at 1/2 inch again, like so. Okay, we'll fold them down like so, and we'll put this one together before we go ahead and do the rest. So again, just burnish those score lines just to make them really crisp. And I am going a little bit slower than what I would normally, but it's nice to be able to just relax and just craft along. So that's my score lines done. So what's going to happen, part A and part B are going to be together. They're going to marry each other. But part A needs a bit of a trim. It's a little bit too full. So you just need to cut a little smidge off of that 6.5 inch side. And when I say a smidge, it's possibly about 1/8 of an inch, like so. So that's as much as you cut off there, okay? Because what's going to happen is they're going to fit together like a glove. So your glue tabs are going to fit over your part A, and they're going to stick like so. But just taking that little smidge off can you see the difference in the how it fits together? You haven't got that bowness of your page. It's more flat, which is what we want. We want it to be really sleek and smooth. So that's your part A and B for page 4. So page 3, we're going to cut part A at 7 by 6.5. So I'm going to go this way. So have I got that? Yes, I have got that right. So 7 by 6.5. I'm just going to double check that. I don't know if that's right. No, that is right. So I did get that right. So part A is 7 by 6.5. So your part B is going to be 7.5 by 7. So I'm going to do the 7 first by 7.5. And the 7.5 side is what you're going to score. Again, at that 1/2 inch. Turn it round, and the other short side at 1/2 inch. Okay. I'm going to fold those over in a second. I'm just going to take off my smidge off that part A, and we're going to marry these two together. So I'm going to just fold those score lines down like so, and just burnish those out. Okay, like so, and then we can stick this together in just a minute, just checking that it all fits. So that's your page 3. So working on page 2. So page 2 is 6 by 6.5. I'm just checking whether or not. No, I thought I may have a few extra pieces there that I can use. So we're going to go with 6.5. So I'm going to do 6.5 by 6. And then your part B is going to be 6 by 7.5. 6 by 7.5. And that 7.5 line. No, I don't think that's right somehow tomorrow. Right, so 6.5 that way. I nearly had it wrong. I nearly did it wrong. I think it's with all the different sizes. So you're going to score along that 7.5 inch side. So it'd be the shortish edge that you're going to score. And that's going to be scored at 1/2 inch on one side and 1/2 inch on the other. And I am going to take that smidge off, just making sure that I've got the right side, and that can fit in like so. So fold that down, and then this is going to fit in like so. And I'm going to write here page 2, 6 by 6.5. So that is your 6. So this is what they look like at the minute. Bring them up. So you've got a 1 inch increment or decrease through your book. So I'm going to try and get some of my offcuts now for the last page. And this one is going to be, so part A is 5 by 6.5. So 5 by 6.5. And maybe, just maybe, we've got a little bit here. So 5 by 7.5. Okay. And then we're going to score at 1/2 inch on that 7.5 inch side. And again on the other, like so. Fold them down, bring in your part A, take your smidge off, and then fit them together. Now I'm going to burnish those down, like so. Right, so that's your pages done. So I'm going to have a quick tidy up. I do like to try and keep a tidy desk. Don't always, I don't always get it right, but I do try. So, bringing our pages, we can start now to put them together. So I'm going to start with my page 4, and I'm just going to open them out. So I'm opening these tabs out, and I'm going to start with one side. So I'm going to glue my right hand side first. So my glue is just going on the glue tab, okay? So I'm going to run a bead of glue down that one edge, come along and go up the other, and then just fill that in, okay? So I'm just going to do the one edge. So bring in your part A. I'm going to just tap it on the ground just so that I get it level top and bottom, okay? And then I'm going to bring your glue tab over, okay? And just very gently just inch that over, and if you keep doing that, your fingers will warm up that glue and it will stick really, really quickly. Okay, like so. And then you'll get a really nice smooth finish as well. Now we'll just burnish that as well. So you might get some glue come out the end. Just wipe that off. Okay. There we go. So now we can do this side. Now I'm going to do exactly the same. Glue. Okay. But this time I'm going to just run my hand from the side that you've glued, so from your left side to the right, and hold my hand in place. And then I'm going to glue this down. So what that does is gets rid of any air bubbles in your page and will help your page sit more flatter. Okay, so there we go. I've just burnished that. Now you can see they are stuck really well. Okay, like so. I've got no, sometimes you may end up with a crease if you've not scored properly, which you'll end up with just like a little bow in that. Oh, hi David, how are you? Oh, nice of you to join me. I am live, I'm here. Yes, happy International Scrapbook Day to you too. So that's my part A, that's my page 4 that's done. So we're going to do that with all of them. And I won't take as much time doing these. I will just do them as is. So tap it and then just use your finger just to go along. Now I think, no, I was going to say I think I might have had a little crease in that one, but I've actually ironed it out. Okay, so that's the one side. second side. And we can then just ease that over. And then just keep going over it, because your hands will warm the glue. Okay, that's 2. So I'm going to get them in the correct order as they go down. I keep thinking in my head, what am I going to do? Because, as I say, this is kind of a semi-blind album. I thought that, well, I'll let you into a secret what actually happened. I had something in my head, an album in my head that I was going to do. But, unfortunately, on Monday, I was cutting the grass and I spotted a tiny little frog. And I really like frogs, so I stopped the mower and picked the frog up, and as I turned round, I'd forgotten that I had a dip in the ground, and I kind of went over head over heels and really sprained my ankle to the point of I couldn't really get up. So I've been laid up in bed for the last week while it recuperates. It's still a little bit sore, but I haven't been able to get in my craft room, so I haven't been able to do what I wanted to do. So, oh, lovely. Yes, no, thank you for dropping in, David. It's lovely to have you here. Enjoy your workshop. Is it with Cool Cats by any chance? If it is, say hello to Maggie and Kay for me, and have a good time. And yeah, don't forget to show us what you make. Cool Cats and workshops are amazing, I have to say. I love every time I go there. They're so good. Yeah, so yeah, please do show us what you make. So we're on our last one as well. And I am just going to add that down. So bring it round. Now, as you can see here, I actually haven't got it level, so I can really, so using glue you can really quickly just take it apart in the right place. If I'd have used double-sided tape, that would have stuck already. So I'm going to add this on here and then push that down. Push my page together, and then like so. So that's all my page is done. Now, what we can do as well with this, we can round our corners, which do make it them look a little different as well. So I have got a crocodile. Now you will need a crocodile if you're going to round your edges, especially with this card, because it is quite thick. You can just about get it into these small ones, but a crocodile is best for this, and especially as well if you want to round your corners of your album as well, which is what I am actually going to do. First of all, let me just I'll try it on my one that I made earlier. So, what do we think? I think round the corners looks nice. Yeah, we'll do that. So, as you can see, I'll bring this one in quickly, because as you can see, I've got a little bit of a crease here. It's where I've not burnished down, because I was doing it really quickly. But then it's done. I love it. I love doing that. So, I'm just going to round the corners here, and again, and again. I need a little bit of welly to do this. There we go. Now I've ended up now with grey board corners, but if you've got a permanent marker, you can just black them out Okay, or go ahead and put some more tape on there. As it's a corner, it won't make much difference, but when it's on, you can't see. Sometimes it's easier to do it this way because then you're not having tape go round the corners. Right, there we go. So that's that one. So then I need to round the corners of my pages. Now I'm not going to stick these into my album. I thought we would go along and make them page by page. So if we get, what's the time now? Right. So if I at least get all my pages and the elements in, then you can then go away and decorate it yourself. So I've rounded all my corners. Now when I say all my corners, I've just done the two outer corners of your page. So that is what it looks like. It's going to look like so. Now if you didn't want to have all that look of them going down in an increment, what you could do is you could put in a booklet. So you could have the booklet so that it come up as far as your outside page, and then they would look all the same. That's another idea that you could use. I may do that, I might not. I'll see. So we've got our pages, we've done our book. So now we need what we're going to do with our pages. So if I bring in my book, this is how I tend to do it. So in my head I think about what I've got and what I want to have in my book. And first of all I think about how much paper I've got to how many flips and flaps that I put in. So I'm not going to worry about my inside covers at the minute. I'll do those afterwards. So for my pages, I'm going to work from 1 to 4 in this particular album here. So I'm going to I put right down what it is. So I'm just going to International Scrapbook Day 224, and I'm going to go with page 1, and that is measures 5 inches by 6.5. Okay, that's my page. So that's what I've got to work with. So let me just double check. So you then have to think of what gap you want in between. So for your mat and layering, so you can have I either go with 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. It really depends on what I'm actually going to do. But for this we'll go with 1/4 of an inch gap in between for our matting and layering. So then you have to think, what are you going to do? So in my head I was thinking, with this page I can have either a pocket down here and a flap, or you can have a booklet that comes over and slots into your side here. I've done an album like that before, but I think just for this we're going to have just a really simple pocket. So I'm going to put pocket and flap, okay, and then I kind of draw it. So this is how I do it. So I'll draw it, put my pocket, and then I'll come down with my flap and whatever I'm going to have. So I might have a little tuck spot. So I kind of write flap and pocket, and then I'll work out all of my measurements from that. So you then think, right, do I want my flap to be exactly the same size as your page? Would you want it a little bit smaller? So there's lots of things that you need to think of. I'm going to have it so that it is exactly the same size. So I'm going to have it at, so I'll get my ruler and I'll go down and I'll think, right, I want my flap to be 5 inches. So it'll be 5 by 5, but don't forget you'll have a glue tab to put on there as well. You'll also need to think about what is going in your pocket and whether you need to have a little bit of a gusset. I'm going to have a gusset with this of 1/8 of an inch, so it's only a small one, but it gives you enough leeway so if you want to put in maybe 3 or 4 different photographs. So I'm going to go with 5.5 by 5.5, and then I'll write score at 1/2 and 1 5/8. Okay, so that's this here. So then my pocket, so that'll be down here, so 1/2 and 5/8. So that'll be where my flap ends. So my pocket, you can either have it the same size and then have it where you've got like a little tab pull to pull it open and a magnet. I'm actually going to go a bit higher with my pocket. Yes, I'm going to go with 4.5. So I've got a 1/2 inch there. So my pocket will then be, this is how I'm going to do this pocket here, will be 4.5. Let me just double check that. No, it wouldn't be. So my pocket would be, let me get this right, I'm going to go with 3 inches by 5, 3 inches by 5, with a score line at 1/2 inch on my pocket. So that's my pocket. So we've got flap 5.5 by 5.5, score at 1/2 inch, and then pocket is 3 by 5 and score 1/2 inch. Okay, so we're going to use our foundation tape as well with that. So let me grab my card. Now you may be able to use some of your offcuts, so don't throw these away. And really, considering we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets of cardstock, that's really good, just to make the album up so far. And we've got, this is our scrap. We had small scraps as well, but this is the main scrap. So you may be able to get your pocket out of one of these. So I said it was 5 inches, so that's your pocket size. No, it's not. Why did I say 5 inches? Where did my pocket go? Oh, it's right underneath. There. It's all black everywhere. So you'll have got, so that's how your page is going to go. So this is the top, and I'm going to put page 1 just so that I know. So this is your pocket. So it's 5 inches, just double checking, by 3. So come down to 3. And then I'm going to do my score line at 1/2 inch, like so. So that's your score. Now with this one, I'm not going to add the extra gusset at the bottom. You can do if you want to, but I kind of quite like it where you have just the gusset at the top and then your pocket is a little bit more rigid than what your flap is. Now you might ask, well, where are your glue tabs that go around the edges? Hang on and I'll show you. So I'm going to just round this corner here. So this is my right hand corner because I've rounded my page. So that goes on like that. Move that out the way so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to add my glue on the mounting fold side of my pocket. I'm going to add this on, and then I'm going to put this down onto my card. Now I'm actually putting it right on the bottom edge. Okay, so it's you've got the crease line and the crease line together, like so, and then just burnish that down. And this is where I lose my bone folder. So there we go. So that's nice, and nice join there, like so. So now you can either round the two corners of your pocket if you want to. I'm not sure what I want to do with that. I'm going to actually. Let's live dangerously. So I've rounded my pocket corners at the top. Now, it's not much of a pocket. Now you can have it like that if you wanted to, and have it as a flap rather than a pocket. But I wanted mine as a pocket. So this is where your foundation tape will come in very handy. Because I want to cut down on the amount of cardstock that you use in my album, in this album, because it does take up a lot of space, cardstock, and that is space that you can have for your photographs. So if you can shave off a millimetre here and there, it's a win-win. So let me just grab my scissors. Now I've not measured this, and what I'm going to do is I'm putting my tape just along that pocket like so. So that's the shiny side. I'm going to cut this excess bit off here so that it's running parallel to the bottom. I'm going to turn it over, and now this is important. You need to make sure you open your pocket. You don't want to tape your pocket, your page pocket shut. Now I might just need to just miter that corner a little bit. So I'm going to push that in and push it down, okay, like so. That way you have now created a pocket, but you haven't got the bulkiness that you would have if I had any cardstock on this side. Now I need to just go around and just round that corner again, just to get rid of that excess foundation tape. So I'm going to do the same here. And now I cut my tape because I like it to be straight at the top rather than all jagged if you just rip it. So do the same on this side. Now you could go ahead and use the same design on each page. Now I do like to do that, I really do, but I do like to try and give different ideas that you can use. So you could use this on every page, or any of the other pages that we come up with, you can use those as well. So I'm just going to push that in. And remember, don't stick your pocket page down. And I just redo that. It's not going to go. I don't believe that. What have I got in there that it just will not go? That's weird. I might need to stand on it. There we go. There. That was weird. Okay, so we've rounded our corners again, and now we've got a pocket with not too much bulk either side. So now we've got the flap. Now the flap was 5.5 by 5.5. I don't think I've got any here, but let's just double check. So that would be, oh, I might have to be able to get that 5.5 by 5.5. Oh, I can. But before I do, let's just check. Yeah, that would be fine. 5.5 by 5.5, and then a 1/2 inch score line on one of those sides. Fold that over. Ah, nearly forgot. I need another score line on there because we were doing a gusset, weren't we? So a 1/2, and then go up to 5 1/8. Sorry, 1/2 inch by 5/8, and do your extra score line there. That's it. Bring that down. Oh, itchy eye. And then I will burnish these down just so that they are nice and crisp. Okay, like so. And then just push that over again just so that you've got that gusset. And then push that down. And then you've got a nice, don't know if you can see that there, gusset there. So, and then add this on here, but before we do, because, no, how did I get that not right? Oh, was that 5 inches? There we go, 5 inches. So I just changed my things on there. So it's 5 by 5 and, oh, I don't know how I managed that. There we go. So 5 inches. So it's 5 inches by 5.5. And it's the 5.5 size that you need to put the score lines on. So we can add that on, but before we do, we need to add in our rounded corners. Like so. Just so that it keeps in with the theme. Oh. And what I've done is I've rounded that extra corner by mistake. I was getting too carried away there. So let me just do another one quickly. What's this size? That is not 5. So one more sheet of paper. Sorry about that. This is what happens. Sometimes you just make a mistake and it's easier to just redo another one than try and rejig it. So that's 5.5. So 1/2 and 1/8. There we go. So quickly just burnish these down. I'm going to get a wiggle on now, I think. I'm enjoying myself too much. It's nice to actually craft and talk at the same time. I sometimes have an audio book on in the background if I'm crafting, and so I can listen to. Or I might have YouTube on and listen to other people crafting as well. So that's your flap. So I'm going to round the bottom of these 2 corners here of my flap as well, and then we can stick that on like so. Just checking, making sure it all fits nicely. Okay, so glue on the glue tab like so. And then we can align it up. So I'm going to line, so you've got your 2 score lines. So your score line at the bottom, so your 1/2 inch score line is what you're going to align with the top of your page. Okay, so let's just push that over a little bit and push that on and push that on like so. And for some reason I feel as though that is a bit bigger than it should be. Just around that corner. I think where I have rounded the corner, it's not rounded it far enough on one side, but that's easily rectified because we can just go in. I'm just going to just trim that down. Oh, that's better. There we go. It's sitting nice and flush now. I'm just checking my sides here. Yeah, that's okay. Yes, that's fine. So that's then your flap. So you've now got a choice to make. So you can then cut out your tag pulls. I do some tag pulls on the website, some dies, but I haven't actually got any cut out with me. I don't want to take the time to cut any out at the moment. So what I could do is we can just add in a little tab pull, and then what we can do is put our magnet in that. So using some of your offcuts. Now my tab dies, actually, let me grab my die cutting machine. I can do that quickly. I've got loads there, and I think it would look nice, look a lot better actually. So let me just grab mine in here. I did have a huge big thing with them. I'm going to use that one. Use that. Yeah, I did have a huge big folder with all my dies in, but I don't know where it's disappeared to. I've put it somewhere safe. You know, that safe place that you have and you can never find. Right, I'll get myself all set up again. Okay, so my very trusted little die cutting machine here, and I'm going to add my dies. Now my dies come with you also get a die here that you can cut out your pattern paper to put over the top. So we're going to add that down. Now I would normally cut 2 out at once, but just so that I can show you. Move that over there. And you could do with some of those trolleys, couldn't you, with the little wheels on, that you can like wheel off to the side, and then somebody else can then change what you're going to do and then wheel it back in when you need it again. That would be nice. So I've just done my tag. Now I don't want the sort of the leggy bits to show, so I'm going to put mine on like so. But before you do, let's bring in the magnets, and these magnets fit just perfectly inside like so. Now when you put your magnets on, always put your magnet nearest to the side that you want closing. That way it's got less card or paper to go through to be able to, so the force, being Star Wars Day, the force is we'll be sticking them both together. So I'm going to add my glue all over the bottom piece like so. Add in your magnet like so, and then we can stick it together on like that, and then I'll add my glue on the other side. Now I have bi-eyed it, but if you want to, you can maybe, if you want to make it the same. Hold on, my TV is going to turn off in a second. Let me just grab it. There we are. And so you would want it about, that's 2.5, so that would be the centre. Actually, I've got that virtually in the centre as it is. That was by fluke. So push that round, and then I'm going to pull that just use my fingers just to stick those two pieces together. Now what I could have also done is put a little bit of glue on top of that magnet, but I forgot. So make sure it's nice and straight, like so. Then your magnet is hidden in this little pocket here, and it also then gives you that a bit more space to be able to put your magnet on, rather than trying to work it into the back here. So you need your next one and your trusty tape again. Sticky side up, and you're going to stick it onto, so you're going to sticky side up but over the magnet that's in your little tab pull, and then let the magnet find its force, and then fold it over and then stick down. Okay, then your magnet will be in the right place, like so. And then I love that snap. So that is then your page 1 done. So bring in your book, this is the right one, and you've then got that ready to go in. This is the one that I haven't, it's this one. So you can either decorate it or you can stick it in now. It's really up to you. I'm not going to. I'm going to wait until I've got them all done. So that's your page 1 done. So page 2, what did I say for page 2? Let's have a look on here. I kind of wrote a few things down. I kind of like just go through it and then make just think, right, what do I want? So let's have a look. So page 2 and 3. So we could, no, let's go with page, yes, we do need to do page 3, page 2, because that's the back of page 1. Oops, tomorrow. So page 2 is the back, and what we could do is do 2 things together. So page 2 and page 3 will be like this. This is how it would sit in your book, like so. So you could have them matching, which would be quite nice, I think. So I might do this a large belly band with a little tag stopper at the bottom. Now I did do that in my other album, but I really liked that idea. It was it looked really effective. So page 2 and 3. So I'm going to do page 2 first, because there'll be different measurements. So we're going to do a large belly band that goes across. So we could do it at 4, because that's 6.5. So let's do it at 4.5 by, so that's going downwards. And then you would have to go, so let's go with 4.5, and let's go by 6, and then we'll put the belly band underneath. But I'm gonna say by 6, but we just need to cut just that extra little tiny smidge more, so that we can then wrap it around. So this is what it's going to look like. So we're going to have it like this. So we're going to have a belly band going across, and then we're going to have a little tag pull at the bottom there, and then that's where our tag is going to fit into. So it's going to go across here. So that's our belly band, and then our tag pull, or tag stopper, we can have that at 4, so we can have that at 2 inches by 1.5. Let's do that, and then we're going to score it at at 1 on the 2-inch side. Okay, so again, look at what scraps you've got left. So we'll do page 2 first, and then I might leave page 3 and do that one a bit later, just so that we've got a couple done. I'm going to go probably for another half an hour, and then so I've been on for 2 hours then, and then we can then maybe come back at another date and finish this. So what did we say? So we're going to go with 6 inches by I actually didn't say there we go. Sorry, I know what I was going to just do it just that little bit bigger, wasn't I? So we're going to go with 6 and just a hair's breadth more than 6, like so. I might go with 6 and 1/8 by 4.5, and then we're going to score on the short side at 1/2 inch, and again at 1/2 inch on the other side. Hopefully that is going to work. I'll bring my page 2 in, and then I'm going to put these into my pockets, so they're actually going to sit in the pockets rather than actually onto the top of your page. So going to look like that. So I'm going to bring that down like so. Now I may need to make this tab stopper a little bit smaller, because I've made it at 1 inch, so that's going to be too much. So let's cut this down to 4. That's better, and then you can keep the tab stopper at the same. There we go. So I'll get my pencil and just rub off that so it's 4 inches. So that's your belly band for that. Then you've got your tag stopper, which I said was going to be 2 inches by 1.5. Like so. And then we're going to score on that 2-inch side at 1. So scored it in half. So that's your little tag stopper there. Now you can also, which I'm going to do, is just round those corners like so. So it just looks a little bit like that. Okay. And that's going to fit on the underside of your belly band like so. So you can have it up as far or as down as little, as much as you want. So we've got this at 4 and this is 6.5. So we have got 4, 5, 1.25 inch gap between the top and the bottom. So let me just mark this down, 1.25. Let's bring you down there, and then I should have 1.25 at the top. Yes, I do. So I'm just going to draw a line there and draw a line there, because when we come to put our pattern paper on, I don't want to actually pattern paper behind this. I want to make sure, otherwise you're wasting it. So if you want to, you can. That's brilliant. But if you want to try and conserve some of your paper, then this is a really good way to do it. So where does my tag stopper go? So the tag stopper, again, it's really up to you where you put it. You can put it in the middle, at the sides, offset. It's really up to you. I'm going to offset it a little. No, I'm not. I'm going to put it in the middle. So this is 1.5, and this is 4, 5. So we've got 2. Let me get my middle. A bit rubbish at maths. It takes me a little while, but once I get there, I get there. So let me push them over. So we want 2, and so that is the middle. There. There we go. I'm getting there. 2 3/8. 2.5. There we go. 2 and there we go. That's my middle. And then let me just get the middle of this, and then I can just join them up. That might be easier than trying to. There we go. Middle. I'll get there in a minute. Just give me a second. There we go. Middle. And then I'll just add them together, and then that gets the middle. So let me put that in like so. Now I'm going to add my glue on the front piece side, but I'm going to just do it like so. Now am I going to go down a half? Yeah, I'm going to go down a half, 3/4. I'm going to go down 3/4, and that's there. So no, I'm not. I'm going to do a half. Indecisive. Yeah, half. There. So I've put my half mark there, and I'm not going to go anywhere below that with my glue. Now this is going to stick to the underside of your belly band, like so. And then just make sure that's nice and straight. And then I am going to add a little bit of tape just over that edge so that it doesn't get stuck. Anything doesn't get stuck on that raised edge there. Having the tape there really does help it stick. It just slides over like so. Now I'm not going to worry too much about this just yet, because this is going to get stuck to my page. But I don't want to stick it down just yet, because I want to put my double-sided, my pattern paper on. Well, no, actually I could do it, but just stick it a bit further up. Okay, we'll do that. If I can find where I've put my page. So this bring in page 2, and we can add this on here like this, and I'm just checking I've got it in the right place just before I stick down, and I'm liking it. Now you could also, if you had some punches, you could punch this and make this a decorative feature, which would be really, really nice. But I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it as is. You could also round your corners, which I think I might do. Let me just check to see what it would look like. Just give me a second. I'm just checking. Oh, actually, that does look quite nice. Yep, now I'll do that. So, round the 4 corners. I just wish that the crocodile would give you a really nice, clean, rounded edge without having to go over it a few times. It does so annoy me because it is such a good piece of technology. There we go. And that's that. So I'm going to glue on my foundation. Sorry, I'm going to glue on my valley fold side. I'm just going to do one glue tab first of all, Okay, and I'm going to stick that on like so, and I'm just sticking it into, it's going inside my pocket, and I'm just marry up those penciled lines, glue that down. That means it gives you a nice clean finish on your page. So glue tab, I'm going to put my glue, but I'm only going to put one line of glue on here. Now first of all, let me just do this. So a bit of foundation tape, you're going to stick it to your glue, to your tab stopper, so that your sticky side is facing up. Can you see that there? And then I'm going to glue just over that edge like so. Okay, glue, put some glue on your wrong side, Tamara, on the valley fold side of your glue tab, and then we can stick these down. So that's one side, stick that down, and then bring your tab in. Remember to put the glue tab into the pocket, not around it. Oh no, stop. I've done it. I wondered when I was going to do it, but I did it. I've stuck it upside down. Can I get that out? Oh, just, I think. Just. Oh, Tamara. Luckily, before I really stuck it down, I got there. So we'll just take that bit off. There we go. So that's not going to be seen, it's on the inside. So we can push them over. Now if I had more time I would redo this, but I want to try and get at least one page done. So glue again on the valley fold side. And we'll stick this in, but did you see the save? That was a good save, that was. Luckily you're not going to see any of this glue, so stick my tab stopper back down. Now the reason I saw that is because I had the magnet, so that's how I actually spotted that. So glue again on that tab on the valley fold side, stick it into the pocket and not around it, and then that's your tag. Now what you could also do on this is you could make this into another little pocket if you wanted to. So you could put a pocket on the front here and add a little flap over the top. That would look really, really good. But I'm just going to leave that as it is. But I will put in the photo mat. So let's grab my ruler. So I'm going to cut this photo mat to 4 3/4, and it's going to go down to 5. Now what you could do is actually add this tab a bit further down if you wanted to come down here, but I think I should have done that, but it's okay, it's not too bad. So we said 5, so photo mat 5 inches by 4 3/4. Just double check that again. Yeah, I think what I should have done is come down to 6 1/4 down here. Bet I can't get that off. Might be able to try it. I think then doing it that way I can I just get that off? No, that's stuck. Okay, what I'll do on the next one is I will bring that down, I think, or I could just take that off and redo it. Right, I'll leave that as it is. I'm going to come back to that one, but we'll do our page 2. So this is page 3, so it'll be exactly the same as your belly band one, but it's just going to be better. Sometimes it's good because you can then work on different things. So let's just check I've got that right. Yeah, I have. I've just re-noticed what I've done here. Never mind. Right, so I'm going to add them like that. Bring in my ruler. I'm just going to come along, just draw a little faint line. That way, hopefully, they'll be in the same place, like so. And then from here, so from the top, I'm going to come down there. So that's where I want my tab stopper to end. So that is 1 inch. Okay, so my tab stopper needs to be at 1. Let's do it at 3 by 1.5, and then score at 1.5. Okay, then I can come all the way down to 1 inch there, and then I can get a 6 inch photo mat in this corner here. Sorry, in this pocket. So that's better, I think. Yes. So the belly band for this will be 7 by 4. So page 3, 7 by 4, and that is the tag stop. Okay, so that's that. So let me move that over there. So we'll redo that in a second. So again, look for what you've got left, and this one is going to be 4 by 7. 4 by 7. Just over 7, so 4 and 7 1/8, so that we've got that bit of wiggle room. So half, and then another half on the other side. So that's your belly band for that. And then the tag stopper was 1.5 by 3. 3 by 1.5, and then score it at 1.5. Okay, and then I'm going to round those 2 edges like so, and then we can stick that on when we come to it. So bring that in. And just get my 1/2 inch that side, and then a 1/2 inch that side, 1/2 inch that side there. And then I'm just going to, this is me, instead of having to measure it, put my score line there. There we go. Instead of me measuring it, I've just worked out that I've got 1/2 inch either side, gone to the centre of that, and then use that centre for that. This will save me instead of measuring. I hate measuring. I always get it wrong. So just reaffirming those score lines here. We'll do this last page and then I think we might call it a day for today. I think we've been very, very productive. So adding your tag stopper, we need to add, so we need an inch. I'm just going to go along there. So again, no glue past that point there. And then I'm going to add the glue and just put it, where did my half inches, 3/4. So don't go further than that pencil mark, so that you've got a nice, you haven't got any glue seepage at the bottom there. So that's the tag stopper on. Then we need to round these corners of the belly band. I hope everybody's still with me and still enjoying it. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, please consider it. It really does help my channel grow immensely, and it enables me to keep doing all these things for free. So the more people that I have that subscribe, the better it is really, because then I can carry on doing what I love. So I'm just putting my glue on that valley fold side, and I'm going to put my belly band just in between those two penciled lines, like so. Turning that over and then adding the tape to the back side of that tag stopper, just to give that a bit more smoothness, so that your tags don't get stuck. And I've added my tape just to the sticky side up, so that it is stuck to the underside of that tag stopper. And then I'm going to add my glue, but just on the very tippy top of that. Okay, and then we can push that over, and then I'm holding the back down so that it then sticks in place. But you want it to stick to the actual page, not to the belly band, otherwise you won't be able to get your photo mat in. So again, I'm going to put the glue on that glue tab, like so, and push that in. And then that is that glue tab done on there. So that is, we've done 3 pages. So we've got your flap pocket and a belly band pocket. I'm going to redo this one so that my belly band comes down, my tag stopper comes down a little bit more. I might have to just cut that bit off or redo that. I may be able to salvage that. I think I probably can, but I will do that off camera, and then it will be, we'll get it done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there, and I may come on, if anybody's around tomorrow, I will probably I might go live about 11:30 again. I've really enjoyed doing this on YouTube. It seems to be a lot more relaxed. I don't know if everybody else feels the same, but I feel it's more relaxed on here than on Facebook. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, please don't forget to comment, like and subscribe on this video. Thank you ever so much for joining me on International Scrapbook Day. And sorry I didn't get the whole thing finished, but I wanted to sort of just go through and just chat as I was crafting, doing it. So I will put up a PDF of all the sizes that we've done so far, and it's going to be one of those rolling PDFs that I will just keep adding to as we go through. And then tomorrow I'll come back on at 11:30 again, and we can maybe get a few more pages done. So enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Star Wars Day, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.